The first thing I see, they want me to do the capital and the current and also the face of the balance sheet. So I'm first just going to do the capital. So capital, first thing I look is I see, oh, okay, they give me end of the financial year, 28 February 2017. The balances they give me 1st March 2016, meaning this is my opening balances, right? So I can go here and I can say, Gous has got 2080 and Naidu has got 1920. And the total is going to be what? 4 million. Then I want to look, is there an increase or a decrease? And I see on the 3rd note, they tell me, Gous increased his capital to, can you see, not with, meaning the closing balance is going to be the 2880. Okay, so it means he contributed 80,000. 800,000. So that gives me 800,000 total. So this is 4.8. And this is 1920. And everybody's sharp. Now when I look at the current accounts, I know firstly, just indicate that I don't block and top. And then I go and I write down the format. And I know the format, just make it like this. The format says salary, bonus, interest on, capital. Then I take my beautiful ruler, because it's important that you draw this line. No, it's not for marks, but it's going to show you that this is going to be a calculation. Okay, so this calculation is going to give me primary distribution. And now I want final distribution, which is going to give me a line again, because this is my net profit. And remember, your net profit is your partner's earnings. Okay. Then I'm going to subtract their drawings. In other words, what did they use of their earnings? And I'm immediately bracketing it. And then I know I've got a retained income. Retained meaning the part of the earnings that they didn't take, that we retained. Then I have an opening balance, I have a closing balance. Right. So the opening balance I can immediately put in, because that doesn't have adjustments. So if I look here, I remember, and before I even look, I say to myself, I must remember debit is negative. Meaning if they don't say debit, we assume it's credit and it's positive. So there it says, current account Gous, 25. Naidu, negative 1112. I don't like this negative, because it means that Naidu took 112,000 more than his earnings last year. Remember, it's last year because it's the opening balance. Is it immoral or unethical for him to take so much or more than what he earned? No, it's not. But it is a concern to me, because it could have an influence on my business cash if he takes too much at a time. Right. So how can I prevent or a partner not to take too much drawings? Is we can say, we can put in the partnership agreement, we can put a max that they can take per month, just so that you regulate your cash flow. Okay, but there's nothing wrong with him doing it, and maybe they don't have a cash problem. Okay, so, but if I was Gous, I would have a talk with Naidu. Okay, but that's just me. Now let's see. Now they talk mortgage loan, so that's balance sheet. We're not doing that now. And then we do Gous, which we already did. Then they say, Naidu, returned merchandise which was unsuitable. Now can you see, drawings wasn't cash drawings. You see? So with a little bit more information, this 112 suddenly becomes less worrying for me. Can you see? Because not all of his drawings was cash. Okay? Now, let's look. We said he returns stock with a price of 5,000. So, his drawings is going to become less. Nee? So, if I look at Gous had drawings 875. Naidu drawings 910 is now going to be 905. What's the total? Okay, so if I look at my T's, there's my trading stock, there's my drawings. They didn't tell me how much stock he took. Okay, but let's say the whole 910 was stock. It just makes it easier for us to understand. So let's say his drawings was 910, 910. Stock decreased with 910. Now what happens? He returns 5,000. So now the stock becomes more with 5. Nee? Well, let's just do 5. And the drawings is going to go less with 5 because he's no longer drawing it. He brings it back. You get it now?
The merchandise is unsuitable.
Yes. Because what's going to happen? If we sold that merchandise to a debtor, he was also going to return it. And what would we do with that unsuitable stock? We will return it to our creditor. So the stock is a different matter. What are we actually concerned about here with the drawings? We're concerned about the fact that his drawings is no longer 910 because he brought 5 back. Okay. So this total says what? 178. 4 zeros. Okay. So can you see, actually these two partners look after themselves quite nicely. Because if you divide that, they get a big income every month. If you divide that with 12. Nee? If you divide that with 12, it's at least 60, 70,000 a month. So they're looking after themselves well. How will I know if they're actually, I don't get the word, if it's fine for them to do it? What will I look at to see, oh yeah, it's justified for them to take so much? What will determine that? Look, their capital is a lot, yeah, but what do they take it from? From their earnings. So you want to go see what is the net profit? Because if their net profit is like 20,000, how can they take 1.7 million? You get what I'm saying? Okay. So I'm talking a lot today. Please listen. So now the next one, I see we have a partnership agreement, and they say partners is entitled to a monthly salary of 65 a month. That's a lot. Okay, so that's 65,000 times 12 gives me what? Say again? 780,000. Can you see? So basically they took their salary and a little bit more. Nee? And if I look at this, nee, the opening balance, Naidu was in the negative. But if I look at the drawings, is there really such a big difference? No, it's not really such a big difference. So it means maybe that Naidu takes a little bit more every year. And now it's accumulating. Yes. Okay, so let's just revise quickly. A partnership agreement is what we agree upon when starting the partnership. So you can do it just orally, but it's better to do it in writing. So the partnership agreement will stipulate all the things we want to bring into place, and usually it's about the distribution of the earnings. But you can also put things in there like, oh, the max of drawings a month. You can put in there any other agreement that you want to put in. And the moment we get a third partner coming in, that partnership that me and you had dissolves, and we make a new partnership with a new agreement. Does that make sense? Okay. So what's the total? 1? Okay. Now they talk about the interest. Now the interest, they say here, here's my financial year. Starts 1st March, ends 28 Feb. So now they tell me the interest is 8%. But if I look here at the top, I see the interest increased to 12%. Okay. So on the 1st of December, so from here to there it's 8%, but from there to there it's 12%. So I'm still going to do 2 calculations every time. But in this case, my amounts are going to stay the same, my rand values. It's my percentages that's different. So when I do gross, and they say it's on the capital balance the first day of the year, so I'm going to use this. Okay? So I take the 2080, and I'm going to take the 2080 twice. Why twice? Because I have to work 8% for March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, 9 months. And I need to do the 12% for 3 months. December, January, February. Okay? So what does the first one give me? 1, 2, 4. And the second one? 62,400. So the total gives me 187,200. Now I'm going to do exactly the same for Naidu, but now I'm going to use his opening balance of 1920. I'm not going to write out everything again. The one, what? Yeah? Because they say that on 1st December the partners increased the rate to 12%. Yes. Okay, so I'm going to use the 1920 the same, 8% for 9 months, and that's going to give me what? 1,200. Okay, then I'm going to do the 1920, 12% for 3 months, and it's going to give me 57,600. So it totals to 8,12,7,1. Is that right? Okay. Now I want to show you something, and I know it's not in this question, but I need you to understand that I can even combine it more. Let's say I say partner A has got a capital of 100 and partner B has got a capital of 200. Okay? Now I say interest on capital is 8%, and 1st December it changed to 12%. And now I say A increased his capital with an extra 50 on the 1st of September. So now I give you an increase in the capital, and because now you say, but yeah, but Gous also increased. But can you see Gous increased his capital the end of the financial year? Okay, but let's say he increased it during the year. Then what I need to do is I need to go and departmentalize. I do blocks. So the first thing I'm going to say, my year starts 1st March, 28 Feb. There's an increase. So up until there, it's 8%. And from the 1st of December, it's 12%. Nay. But now I also know that A increased his capital on 1st of September, which is here. 1st of September, he increased with 50. So I'm only going to do A for you. So if I look at A, can you see there's going to be 3 calculations? So the first calculation will happen with the time till the first change. So I will say, oh, up until there, A had 100 Rand capital, 8%, how many months? 6 months. Right? Can you see? That's the first one. The second one, I now look. Can you see? It's up until there. Because then the percentage change. So now it's 150, 8%, September, October, November, 3 months. Oh, can you see how it works? And now you can already think, oh, what's going to be the last one? So the last one is going to be that one. Where I say, oh, okay, so now it's 150, 12%, 3 months. And you can see it's 6 plus 3 plus 3 gives me 12 months. You see what I did? So I just went into sections. Every time a change happens, it's the end of a section. Okay, so don't get confused if I give something like this in a test or exam. Okay. So, here we go on. So what's the total of the interest? Say again, sweetie. Okay, and then they say after year, okay, there's a 5% bonus on the net profit, and they say the net profit is 2030. Please remember where to put the net profit, ne? Okay, so 2030 times 5% gives me 101,500. Do you think these people earn a bonus? Why do you say so? On the grounds of what? Is it only one? Which one? Okay. Can you see nobody died? Do you think Gous earned it?
Yes.
On the grounds of what do you say it?
Because of Lady Group has a lot of drawings in the company. And
Should that determine a bonus though? No. What should determine a bonus? Yeah, but he's already getting an interest on capital.
Is Naidu a silent partner?
That's the thing. You can go ask. Did Gous maybe get a very big sponsor in? Did Gous maybe reached a higher target than Naidu? So this would be work related, ne? Effort related. Okay? And we can't say if he earned it because we can't see what he did. But if they gave you a case study and they said, part of the partnership agreement is that he gets 5% of the net profit because he works longer hours, or he's the one with the concept ideas and whatever like that. Okay. But you can't link a bonus with their drawings. Can't do that. Nothing to do with that. A bonus is either they give as a standard a 13th check, or it's performance based. Okay. So let's total. Okay, so now I can see the total earnings of the company, of all the partnership, sorry, is 2030, right? That's their total earnings. Of that total earnings, 2021 was already allocated. Okay? So how much still needs to be allocated? So I say 2030 less 2021 and it gives me 85. How? You put it in your calculator. Okay, so my net profit is 2030. So that's what they earn. Now, we need to distribute those earnings between the partners. Right? The partners, Gous and Naidu. So in other words, we already distributed from that the salary, the bonus, and the interest. That's why we call it a primary distribution, because this is where the earnings go first priority. Okay? And they will get that even if they make a loss. But then they're going to distribute the loss. So now, already what is planned to allocate is 2021. So from that 2030, 2021 is already established how it's going to be distributed. So now we are left with 8.5, né? Which is a secondary distribution.
So the net profit minus the final distribution is
Ye-
the secondary.
Yes, and we call that my final distribution. So that which is left, if it's a profit or a loss, listen to me, it can be a loss, it can be less as well. If those earnings are, primary distribution is more than the total earnings, there's going to be a loss that we need to share. Okay.
Matt, if the primary distribution was more than the net profit, then the secondary distribution would be
In brackets, yeah. Okay, so now how are we going to distribute that 8.5? They say it's in the proportion of the capital balances at the end of the year. Which for me doesn't make sense, because this guy only contributed 800,000 at the end of the year. So why should he get more profit? But yeah, that's what they decided. So here we go. So what do I usually do? I just draw a line through all the zeros, né? And now I'm left with 288. I'm someone going to do it here. 288 over 480 and 192 over 480 times the 8.5. You guys see? Everybody happy? You can go to the smallest denominator. No mistake with that. But I just think it's time consuming and you're not going to get more marks, because most probably this is going to be a principal marks anyway. Huh? Yeah, because how much is Gous going to get? He's going to get, from the 480 pieces of cake, he's going to get 288 pieces. Oh, just shush. Okay, what do I get, Gous? 5.1, and he's going to get 3.4. Okay, so now let's go. So now I see 106 whatever plus that, let's total. So let me explain ratios to you. Let's say the ratio was 2 to 1. Ne? Then I know this guy's going to get 2 pieces and this guy's going to get 1 piece. Meaning how many pieces are there? 3. Okay? So if I want to do guy 1, I would say whatever rand times 2 over 3. And the second guy, I would say whatever rand times 1 over 3. So that's the principle that I'm taking further now. So now they say according to capital. So what is their capital? So in essence, I can say 288,000 to 2,000. You see? Instead of 221. So now I just want to make it smaller. I don't want to work with all those zeros. So you can go and divide it by 2. You can go and divide it by 3, by 4, whatever. Okay? Like you must do that common denominators in maths. I don't know if that's what you call it. But in any case, so what I do, what works for me, is I just cancel out the zeros. Okay? Now I'm left with 288 and 192. So the total of those two gives me 480. Are you with me now? Yeah. So that's why I say 288 over 480 and 192 over 480. Of what? Oh, the remaining profit. Yeah, the 85. Okay. So now I subtract the drawings. Can we quickly do that? When I'm showing you, can you see there's a line, there's a line, there's a line, there's a line. And it's important for me that you draw your lines, because every line tells you this is your calculation. So those three, those three gives me that one. Plus this one gives me that one. Minus gives me this. Plus gives me this. And that's why it's important to have your brackets, because you need to work with your brackets. Your brackets will indicate to you that you're not going to plus, you're going to minus. It's easy. Let's do the balance sheet. So now with the balance sheet, I want you to see the closing balances of the capital and the current. Those closing balances is going here as my owner's equity. They're going to go there. So I'm literally transferring. My capital is 4.8 million and my current was 163. Can you see that this current account is the only thing that can ever be a negative in the balance sheet? Okay? Because if, let's say this was 360, 800, then you will have a negative here. And then you would have to transfer a negative there. It's the only time a negative is allowed in the balance sheet. Please don't put brackets in the balance sheet for anything else. So, now I block on top. And can you see, it would not be wrong to talk about partner's equity instead of owner's equity. Okay? So, because what is owner's equity again? Owner's equity is capital less the drawings plus the profit. What did we do here? We took the capital less the drawings plus the profit. Because what is the current account in essence? It's the profit less the drawings. Okay, let's go on. So, mortgage loan. Mortgage loan, I want to have here the closing balance less the short-term loan. Okay? And that short-term loan is that short-term loan. Same thing. Now, I don't just assume that the amount in the trial balance is the closing balance. Can't just assume that. Let's go on. So, we can only know that that is the closing if they indicate that to me. Because usually, when we are starting to do the income statement balance sheet next week, you'll see that we still need to add the interest. But let's not go into that now. Let's read. They say the mortgage loan is $1 million. And we did it from Nedbank 1st March 2016. Can you see it's the start of my financial year? All entries relating the loan, repayments and interest have been recorded. Can you see they are telling you that this is the closing? Okay, so I can go put in the closing. This is Nedbank, ne? The closing is 900. Short term, what am I going to pay next year? And they say next year I pay 100. So I know my loan is going to be 800. Please remember to block and top. And immediately put that 100 with short-term loan. There we go. Don't forget this.
Ma'am,
Yes.
bond and loan the same thing.
Yes.
Bond and loan are they the same?
No, they're not the same thing. They are both loans. It's about what surety you give. So a normal long-term loan, usually what would happen is you would take out life insurance as surety. A mortgage bond is a bond where your property is surety. So now let's go on. I see here also they give me, I'll be with you now, creditors 120, and they give me a bank overdraft of 705. Can you see? And I need you to link this. Remember what I told you, what is my problem with this guy taking more than he earned? I said to you, this might be problematic for our cash flow. And we see that these guys actually, their drawings is extremely high. Now look at how high is their bank overdraft. Do they have a healthy cash situation? No. So, yes, it all looks fine and well, but they're living in debt. Does that make sense if I say? Okay, so I block and top this, and it gives me what? 95. And then I bottomize. How do I bottomize? I take the equity and the liabilities to give me the total, which is, I can do the last 5 and 8. It feels like I'm going to be done before you. 1? What? Yeah, it's 4963 plus 800 plus 925. You guys can't struggle then.
B plus.